If you've been swept up by the glitter of tech stocks and the hype around Bitcoin, you might be missing the quiet revolution happening in the precious metals market. See, despite a strong performance, gold and silver remain amongst the most underappreciated investments at this current moment. And so why is that? And more importantly, why should you care? See, here's the kicker. While fiat currencies worldwide continue to erode in value, gold and silver are proven to be the lifeboats in a sea of sinking ships. Today, this little short deep dive, I want to uncover 3 critical points, which are the steady rise of gold and silver against major currencies, their underestimated role in preserving wealth, and why silver might be poised for a breakout in 2025. So let's talk about this one. All right, so I want to take a quick minute, share some thoughts in reference to silver and how, in my opinion, it still is the most undervalued and not widely held monetary medium that people need to really continue to pay attention to despite the price oppression that we're witnessing right now. And of course, with Bitcoin at all-time highs, it makes it easy for people to dismiss what has always been known as the people's money. So in this video here, I want to share some thoughts and analysis in reference to some figures that I think will further draw people's attention to this shiny metal that still serves a very important role in a variety of sectors, and more importantly, in preserving wealth. So as always, if you guys want to see more of these little quick takes, definitely hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel, and down below, drop a comment, share your thoughts and opinions on this subject. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you always be plugged in when I release one of these little deep dives. But the very first one, gold and silver versus fiat currencies. You see, the numbers don't lie. And so while global headlines are captivated by tech stocks, rallies, and crypto surges, gold and silver have quietly outperformed every major currency at this point. And so year to date, gold has risen nearly 29% in the British pound and 28.7% in dollar terms. And so silver has matched this performance by gaining 28.7 against the dollar, while the Swiss franc, often touted as a safe haven currency, has appreciated 36.2% against gold. And so what does all this mean? Referring to your fiat currency, and someone offers you a lifeboat, which is precious metals. The lifeboat isn't flashy. It doesn't have the allure of Bitcoin with the 150% rise this year alone, or perhaps Nvidia's 178% gains. But while tech stocks and cryptocurrencies are thrilling roller coasters that people want to jump on, gold and silver are the stable foundation that remains buoyant of economic storms. And then the second point worth talking about is preserving wealth in a time of decline. And so right now, gold and silver have stood the test of time, not just as commodities, but as real money. And so their value isn't tied to government debt or central bank whims and their monetary malfeasance. This year's trends underscores a critical truth, which is fiat currencies, particularly the US dollar, the euro, and the Swiss franc, are losing purchasing power at a very alarming rate. And so here's a great analogy to highlight what I'm referring to. Imagine fiat currencies are like sandcastles, slowly eroding by the tide of inflation that comes in from the ocean. And yet gold and silver, they're the rocks beneath the waves, steady and unyielding. And so in 2023 alone, central banks worldwide continue printing money and running massive deficits. And so the US Treasury, for instance, operated at a 75% budget deficit, spending recklessly to maintain the illusion of stability. Meanwhile, countries like China and Poland quietly stocked up gold reserves. The Western media didn't talk about much, but it was covered a lot in the Asian and European markets. And so they're preparing for what many believe is the inevitable collapse of the debt-based monetary system. And then the very last point was silver's potential rise in 2025. And so we're literally weeks away from what will be the second term of Donald Trump. And even though he's focused on all this crypto stuff, don't sleep on what the rest of the world is working towards right now. It's alternatives, and more so it's commodity-based alternatives, whether it be a gold-backed stable coin or gold-backed payment system or something like that. Metals are a part of that equation. And if gold is the banker's preferred medium of monetary, silver then obviously has to be the people's chosen method of monetary stability and wealth preservation. And so while gold's value is undeniable, silver may be the underdog ready to shine bright in 2025. And so a lot of analysts predict that in 2025, it could mark a turning point where silver outpaces gold in return. And so the question is why? Silver has historically lagged behind gold in bull markets, but tends to accelerate in latter stages. So basically think of silver as a sprinter in a marathon. It starts slower, but often finishes faster. So if gold is the marathon runner maintaining a steady pace, silver might be gearing up for a sprint in the next leg of this race. And so the signs are already here. While industrial demand for silver increases, so think solar panels and electronics and things like that, and of course course, this EV movement that all nations around the world are trying to push people into, silver could deliver explosive returns as investors recognize its untapped potential. And so the last question is, what should you do now? And so the choice, in my opinion, is clear. You can keep chasing speculative gains in tech stocks and Bitcoin and things like that. Or once you're done playing around over there, you can continue to hedge your bets with assets that preserve wealth for the millennia. And so while Bitcoin might skyrocket to 200,000 within the next couple of months, most likely, it could just as easily plummet to 40,000 in the short term. While gold and silver don't promise the adrenaline rush of crypto, but they offer something far more valuable, which is stability. And so as we head into 2025, pay close attention to silver, because in my opinion, it may not glitter like gold or Bitcoin, but its day in the sun is coming. So once again, this is just something I think is worth continuing to remind people on, is that long as governments are in control, even though they're steering people towards the digital stuff, don't let them trick you and deceive you and to get rid of the tangible stuff, which of course, gold and silver has been here well before majority of the politicians that are in power now that are working towards this digital transition that we're all heading to inevitably. But don't forget your fiat currency insurance, which is precious metals. So once again, just sharing what's happening in the news, sharing my 2 cents on things. Curious to hear what you guys think. If you found value here, definitely drop that comment down below, subscribe, click the bell so you'll be notified when I put out the next video. And as always, look forward to bringing you these little short takes to share my 2 cents on what's happening. Curious to hear yours. Catch you guys later.